Good evening and welcome to the school committee meeting on Monday, August 25th. This meeting is being recorded and aired live on LCTV as well as being live streamed. At the town's website, longmeadow.org, you can find the link for the live streaming. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our mission statement, the Long Meadow School Committee maintains educational policies that foster continuous improvement by challenging and supporting all children in a safe and caring learning environment, enabling them to reach their highest potential and to become productive citizens. Through effective communication and positive relationships, the Long Meadow School Committee will make informed decisions in the best interest of the students, the schools, and the Long Meadow community. So correspondence?
No correspondence.
No correspondence. Any visitors, public input? None. School committee comments? Okay. Well, I would just like to say welcome back to a new school year. I know that officially we start tomorrow, so welcome back to our faculty and staff, and we're looking forward to a great and productive year. So, Marie, your report.
Yes.
I know you're working on that.
No, I'm just changing the letterhead, so we're all good. Okay, the ACT scores are back, and the ACT scores are, it's a national test that actually looks at its standard-based curriculum as well as career readiness, and the high school students perform very well. We score at the top of Massachusetts, and Massachusetts came in first nationally, which shows that our students are holding up very well. And in terms of being prepared for college, it really shows that they're ready. I know, Janet, you have a daughter that's starting college this week, so we'll look forward to reports to see how well prepared you feel she was when we actually get out there. That is our objective, to make sure the kids are well prepared. The MCast scores are in. We've looked at the growth. We're seeing growth in almost all areas. The state comparisons are not in yet, so it's a little difficult to give a comparison other than looking at our last year's scores. We're going to have a report for you the end of September, beginning of October. We've already put it on the calendar, but we'd like to do an in-house analysis. We're going to be doing an item analysis. We'll have a full report for you later at the end of the month, beginning of October. Building committee met last Thursday. As you know, we had, I have to say this right, it's not the seam. It's the joint. The joint. It's the joint of the pipe that broke. This is the second time that's happened. The building committee is going to watch the situation carefully. If we have more breaks in the soldering, then we'll look into doing a further inspection. But right now, they're not overly concerned that it's only two, given the number of elbows that are throughout the facility. We also took a look at the punch list. Paul Dunkley did a fantastic job of putting together what the items are left. We've come to agreement on what the town will take care of and what the contractor should be taking care of. We still have issues. For example, the air conditioning's been out in this building for days now due to a defective unit on the roof that was brand new. So we're continuing to work with them, but we're trying to get the larger issues that need to be addressed handled by the contractor. The buildings are in fantastic shape. The custodians have been working diligently all summer. We've had a lot of last-minute changes, too, due to the fact that at Blueberry we added a first-grade section. We had to move two computer labs, relocate a special education teacher, and set up the new first-grade classroom. But in walking the buildings, they're gleaming, the rooms are ready, they're greeting staff, they're helping them unpack classrooms and boxes and supplies that are in. So kudos to the custodians, because I think summer's the most difficult for them. They're working primarily in hot buildings, and they have an awful lot of work to do, as well as greeting the staff when they get back.
Can I just add to that real quick? I actually ran into one of our center school teachers the other day, and I said, "So you're back in the building?" She said, "Yeah." She goes, "I have never seen the school this clean. It looks awesome." So kudos to the team at center.
New teacher orientation was last week, and that's really new staff orientation. We had secretaries We had teachers and more that came in. The teachers are given mentors that they met with. We go through what to expect when they come to Carlisle. They get to meet the administrative team.
Long Meadow. We're not in Carlisle.
Thank you. That's a, wow, pretty
Anymore.
slip. But in Long Meadow, so they meet the administrative team, they meet other staff members, they meet mentors, so it's a great way to come to Long Meadow, it's a great way to see what we're about. They get new teacher handbook as well as all the other information that they need. Online learning. We'll be talking about that a little bit more in detail later, where we're looking at expanding opportunities, and we're working through some details now, which I'll share at a later date. The websites are up and running. Hillary Godin has done a fantastic job of
Absolutely.
recreating, taking all the input from the communications committee. She met with high school teachers, and she's meeting with the website managers, that's what we call them, not coordinators, website managers, and the website managers are going to give feedback, and then we'll finalize them. They are far easier to navigate. There's the same template on every single page, so I think if you're a user, particularly parents, are going to find it easy to navigate around the system and find out what's going on. We thank Hillary. It was an awful lot of work. She was very open to everyone's suggestions and has really been a pleasure to work with. And last thing, school starts tomorrow for the staff. The staff will be in the next 2 days. We have convocation tomorrow. We have 2 full staff development days. The middle school staff development team began last year by looking at individualizing choices. So Chris Collins and Kelly started that. Sue's done a lot of work this summer making sure it's finalized and ready to roll. So we're very excited about the rollout of our professional development program. That's it.
That's it.
I have 2 quick questions. When do you expect parents to get MCast results?
The release is coming shortly. It's in the next week or 2.
I think it's early September.
I think
it's October.
We have a period of time where we can correct mistakes or, refute some.
I can look that up and send it to you. It's soon.
Okay.
They sent us a breakdown. We get it first. We get the raw data. We send back corrections, which we've done. We look it over, and then they release it to the public.
I
And
know
then you get
they
it
planned to
later.
do earlier this year, but, and then my next one is harnessing the spirit of Kim. On a cart is not going to happen at Blueberry?
It is not going to happen
okay.
on Blueberry.
That's-
Shifts were made. Blueberry actually had 2 computer labs, not 1, and all the other elementary schools have 1. So that's been broken, the second floor computer lab's been broken down. The computer lab by the library will remain. So in effect, we've been able to do it without putting anybody on a cart.
Okay,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Any other questions for Marie? Okay. I don't have much of a report except to welcome everybody back. It's, summer, we go into low mode, and I'd like to thank Michael for chairing a bunch of those meetings, because I was out of town for a lot of it. I don't think I was here much this summer. But with the start of the school year, subcommittees will get started with their work again. And we've got a lot of new chairs, a lot of switching positions and committees. And so just a couple reminders is that all meetings need to be posted within at least 48 hours in advance per the open meeting law. And Diane will take care of that if you get her the information. The information has to include an agenda for the posting. So for chairs, that's something that we need to do. Also, as a reminder, someone on the committee should be designated to take notes, take minutes, and those minutes should then be voted upon and approved at a subsequent subcommittee meeting. So just a few reminders, because I know Michelle and Kim aren't here, but I know that they're going to be chairing, so I was going to go over that with them as well. But just friendly reminders for all of us of subcommittees that I know are going to be getting up and running. Joseph?
Do those minutes get posted on the website of subcommittees?
Finance sub does, but the others have not.
Good to know.
Okay. So that's all that I have. We'll be looking forward to a busy and productive year.
Janet, Tom just reminded me to give you an update on the track, and he can help fill me in. I know on August 10th, the town took on the first phase, which was taking up the track. The week after that, we had a vendor come in who began the work on it, and so where are we at right now, Tom?
Yeah, the base coat is down. They need to let it cure for a few days. They anticipate completion next week. They may have to wait a few days to line it, but they're looking somewhere around September 3rd to the 5th, depending upon the weather and so on.
So they've done all the repairs to the base that needed to be
They
done?
did. They said that the asphalt base is in pretty good shape in the areas where we didn't pull up the existing surface.
Okay.
But they did make some repairs, and where it was coming up, they've also fixed that in terms of the surface coat, not in the stretch. So they're getting ready to put now the additional coats on top. So we'll see progress over the next week. And they hope to be done, like I said, anywhere between the 3rd and the 5th.
And did that include the high jump area?
The high jump area is also being worked on. They did,
Saw it today.
yeah, they did some work there today in terms of putting the base coat down. Again, they have to let that cure for a few days before they can come back and put on the top coat. But yes, that does include that space.
Great. Thank you for those reminders and updates.
Could I also answer Katie's question, MCast News?
Yes.
The next deadlines, everything's confidential right now because it's still embargoed as they work through the process. But coming up, we have the parent, the final official information, I'll get September 12th, it's still embargoed at that time. Then the parent release will be September 23rd. That will be printed parent guardian reports for students participating in standard MCAS tests and the MCAS alternate. And we'll receive those on September 23rd, and then they'd have to be sent out to you. So there'd probably be no more than a week turnover time, probably a couple of days.
Okay. So late September, early October.
Yes. And we can plan now to work around that date, so we can try and flip them pretty quickly.
Okay. Joseph?
Welcome back, everyone. So, a couple things. First of all, very exciting is that the class 2015 has selected Disney's High School Musical as our senior class play. Those are going to be, it's going to be performed November 20th, 21st, and 22nd of the coming year. Any businesses interested in supporting LHS's senior class, feel free to contact me. My email's on the school committee website, and our producers will also be getting around to local businesses. We have ads available in our play bulletin, and we're very excited about that.
Joseph, who are you in that play?
Actually, as a class officer, I have elected not to take any major roles. However, my talent probably would allow me to. Me and the other class officers will probably grab an extra spot, but we're in charge of oversight. So of the play.
Okay, so you're not playing the Zac Efron character.
Not this year.
Okay.
On that note, we have some really awesome senior apparel that I wanted to show off to everyone. So no one not feel obligated to buy any school committee members, but so this went out to all the seniors last week, and we're going to be handing them out on the first day of school during the senior assembly. You'll note our Make History. That's going to be our senior class slogan, and it's very funny because it says Make History, and it's a 1-5 for class 2015.
Nice.
Yep, that's going to be going out the first day of school. Some other things, as we just went over the students, there were some questions about when the track would be done, but obviously now we know September 3rd to the 5th. This new student and freshman orientation is taking place this Thursday morning. That's going to be a great event, as it always is. If anyone would like, if any students would like to help out, they can feel free to email me, and I can get you in contact with Ms. Warren so you can sign up. Over the summer, I had the pleasure of meeting our new assistant principal, Ms. Estradios, and I wish her the best of luck in our new school year. And that's going to be it for me.
Okay. All right, so finance report.
Finance Subcommittee met on August 20th, 2014. And the first thing we did was approve the use of parking lots for a trip to New York City for a group of people who are concerned about the environment. And we're not charging them anything, and they're good people. And then we have some financials.
Yeah, we just, there was a report regarding nutrition in the FY15 budget. So it captured changes that have occurred so far in positions that were budgeted and changes in the personnel or in vacant positions. So currently, and it is subject to change as there are still a few higher that are taking place, but we have approximately $71,000 in attrition that we have recognized based on staffing changes that have occurred since the end of last school year.
And we will have some discussion in executive session.
There was an
Of some of our
executive session also,
recommendations.
correct.
Thank you.
Okay. So, anything else for school building committee, John, that you can think of that Marie didn't already mention?
Well, the air conditioning, well, you mentioned that.
Right.
Say it again, louder. No, that's about it. Yeah.
And it's just the AC in the admin wing, correct?
It's also been troublesome in the high school administrative area as well. There's also humidity in the gym that they're dealing with, high humidity, because the system that they put in is not pulling out the moisture. So they're looking at all of that.
But the air velocity management system still working in the academic wing and everything like that?
They've checked it. There were not as many concerns in the academic wing as there were in the B building.
Legislative update, Tom?
Okay, yes, there's a couple of items. I'll just try to highlight them. Last week, Governor Patrick signed into law House 4376, which contains several sections concerning the public schools. Section 6 of the gun law contains an extensive provision entitled Safe and Supportive Schools that will take effect on January 1st, 2015. And it proceeds to define what a safe and supportive school is and does a lot of the things that we're already talking about in our basic mission statement. Skipping over to a couple of others, Chapter 70 Chapter 70 is the general aid to education, and Chapter 70 was increased by nearly $100 million, which brings the total funding of this account to $4.4 billion, and that is good news for schools. Increased funding will keep school districts at foundation spending levels and provide additional assistance to school districts that do not benefit from foundation aid. Circuit breaker funding was increased by $5 million. The so-called circuit breaker account that provides funding for extraordinary special education costs received an appropriation of $257.5 million. This funding represents close to full funding of this account, and that's good news. The Metco account has received an appropriation of $19.1 million. And those are the basic highlights. So it's a pretty productive year for us,
John,
for schools.
well, I'm just reading through this legislative bulletin too, and this might be a better question for policy sub when we meet, but there's a section of the gun bill that John was just talking about that mentions suicide prevention training. It says that we're required to provide at least 2 hours of awareness and prevention training every 3 years to all licensed school personnel. So would that be something that we update our policies for, or is that something that we would do? How would we handle that?
We provide trainings for staff that are mandated, and we provide them with policy or webinars, and then they sign off when they do it.
Okay. Okay. Maybe we'll get some guidance from MASC on how to implement this. But that seems cumbersome. So.
Green team, Liz?
We have not met,
Subject to
however,
appropriation. That's
last
what a lot of
Wednesday,
them are saying, which means it may not happen.
the Recycling Commission, and I'm part of that as well, we held a custodian luncheon to thank all the custodians for their hard work over the year and what a great job they did getting the schools ready. And it was a really good turnout. All the custodians were there. Tom was there. Marie was there.
I stopped by before it started.
Okay,
Yeah, so-
sure you did.
That's Paula.
The town manager was there, Maria Angelines was there, and I think they felt very appreciated.
Fantastic.
So.
I think that's awesome that they put that on for
Very
them, so
nice.
thank you.
Thank you for coming, Liz.
You're welcome.
Custodians appreciate it. Just to add to Michael's comment about the gun bill and the suicide prevention, all of that is subject to appropriation, which means that even if they pass the bill and they don't fund it, we're not obligated to do it. And one of the concerns of the superintendents is the number of initiatives that they're passing that they're not funding.
That are unfunded
Nor
mandates.
are they providing time, they keep adding more and more on. But that's an important piece to watch, what they appropriate for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, 2 hours of a training on.
It's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Right.
Not saying it's not important, it's important, but that's a lot,
Well,
that's
not
a lot
only
of
is it
time.
a lot of time, but if it's unfunded, that adds
Right.
another layer to the issue.
I do think, in light of Robbins Williams' death, and that it always is an issue, suicide, it's not spoken about. It is in the health curriculum, but it would be a good time for us to talk to our health teachers about how they address that, how are they talking about it, so that we're not ignoring it. I just don't know the separate 2-hour training is going to work.
Right, well, and especially when, besides, tomorrow when you have the entire staff together, how often do you have the opportunity to get everybody 2 hours free, to do it? And which, again, not to say it's not important, because it is important, but it'd be interesting to see some of these other things, how we have to implement them.
It's a challenge.
Operations Subcommittee, I know you're on it, but I don't think anybody, I
We
think
haven't.
Michelle is chair.
If I could,
Oh, I'm sorry,
I believe
John.
our health policy is above what the state requires.
For the high school health classes?
Yes. This is a program we adopted 3 or 4 years ago that Fran Kress was the chair of, and it was a very progressive document, so I'm glad to hear the state's catching up with what we're doing. But we are doing work in this field.
Right.
Seal? Nothing?
We have a new Pupil
LPBEC?
Services Director. Well, that, we've discussed our new Pupil Services Director last.
Okay. LPDEC, nothing?
Yes, thanks.
Middle school, nothing? Okay. Policy sub.
We have to schedule a meeting after the 9th, and we have a bunch of policies to update.
Okay.
So we'll be back.
You'll be back. What about Joint Energy Committee?
I missed the last meeting.
Let's see, the last meeting, we just happened to have the person here who did some audits at the school.
The
and he was
energy
still-
audits?
Energy audits of the elementary schools and the middle schools. He didn't do the high school since it's new. And he's gonna have all his information in to us, probably the end of this week, I believe he said. So, we'll see what he has to share. And the town side is also working on getting audits of their town side buildings, just, the energy use of the lights, if the lights on the outside are energy efficient and useful, if they're not too bright. And then we're still seeking ways to look at solar panels, and I guess we missed a grant to get solar panels on our emergency buildings, so we'll have to wait for the next round. That's according to Maria Angelides. I guess we didn't act, or the town didn't act fast enough on that, and I believe we need to go through our purchasing, Chad Thompson, to look for companies that will give us bids for our solar panels, so we need to look in that direction.
Great.
Can I ask a question about that? We've been talking about this for a while, but at night, all our school buildings are illuminated, exterior illumination.
Right.
And this is something I'm told the police think is a good idea.
Right.
Do we really need as much lighting as we're providing? Has anyone really kind of looked at that?
So,
And I'm not trying to throw a curveball at you.
Right,
but-
no, I have an answer, so.
Oh,
yeah, I'll
okay.
answer, yeah. Kim and I and Pam Chaplin actually walked the exterior of Blueberry and the high school about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Pam's the school resource officer, and we did identify certain lights that could potentially be turned off, but the majority of the lights around the building, especially around the high school, are really only illuminated around doors or points of entry. And she felt very strongly that at the high school, at the very least, we don't turn off too many lights, especially because there had been some incidents she had told us about that where there had been entry into, but not access to, the building out on the back grate, which is now locked, among other things, and they were able to catch it on the camera. But she said for security that they feel very strongly that, at least around the high school, those lights on the exterior be turned on. And I think that they were willing to work on some of the parking lot lights, and they were willing to work with us on some of the middle school and elementary schools where they're very
Wolfstone Road
limited.
School seems to have
They
a
do.
lot of lighting.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing that we talked about is the lights, that the audit gentleman said was that we could go to different fixtures called dark sky, which basically just point the light down and does not illuminate to neighbors. So that would be more energy efficient and probably better for the neighbors.
Great. Because I know I think you had reported before about the potential of shutting like every other light off
Yeah.
in this high school parking lot.
Still not sure how realistic that is.
Okay.
I think they're all on the same circuit.
But all the parking lot lights go off at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is that correct? 11:30?
Yes, except the lights along the walkway along the building.
Yeah.
And all the ones in the parking lot
Okay.
do shut off at 11:15, I think.
And Pam was comfortable with that?
Yeah, she
that
was.
part of it?
She was very comfortable with it.
Okay, great. And then the last committee is Enrollment Study, and that's a new committee. We'll be calling a meeting once we have data in. I believe we have it scheduled for end of September, beginning of October, with final enrollment numbers, class sizes, and such. But we've got to wait till things get up and running and the dust settles a bit with that. Am I missing any committee, subcommittee that needs to speak? Okay. So warrants.
I'll do them.
All right.
Okay. I move that the school committee approve the warrant batch number 2014 of the special revenues of grants FY14, dated August 29th, 2014, in the amount of $7,934.40.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And last, let's see, I move the school committee approve the warrant batch number 2015 of the general operating fund FY15, dated August 29th, 2014, in the amount of $200,135.79.
Thank you.
Motion,
Second.
second.
Second. All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That's it.
All righty. There's no consent agenda, no minutes. However, there is an executive session planned.
I move that the school committee adjourn into executive session for the purpose of strategy as it relates to contract negotiations with non-union personnel to reconvene into open session.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. This requires roll call vote. Liz?
Aye.
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 Okay, so we will adjourn into executive session, and we will be back.